back down to the Chiefs pit, Timmy Petty, Mark Petty, and Richie Petty. I was back here working the other day, and my good friend Will Lynn stopped by, and he was talking about NASCAR, talking about going back international. And so I got to thinking, this ain't the first time international, Canada or Mexico, because I was looking, Richard Petty's first race was in Canada on July the 1958. Lee Petty wins the race, and I think it was young lad Richard Petty's first start in the hardtop.
Really?
Yeah. I got the expense reports right here when they went up there, and Lee spent $227 to take 2 cars, entry fees, and port of duty, and all that going into Canada. They raced in Toronto.
Let's go tomorrow.
Yeah. But another thing about that one was Uncle Julie had a car, had Rex White driving for him. He actually started on pole and finished 7th in a 57 Chevy. Grandfather and Uncle Richard, they were in 57 Oldsmobiles.
What was the date of that you said?
July the 18th, 1958.
Who won the race?
Lee Petty.
Oh.
But the funny part about it, here's the funny part about that one. You read in the articles here, I got a little newspaper article, and you're reading, and Richard's talking about his first start and how Cotton and Lee were fighting it for 1 and 2, and Cotton come by him and give him room, and then Grandfather come up. This is his son, and lap at him. He come up and he hits him and knocks him into the wall.
He's in the way.
Yeah, because he's trying to get the lead. Well, Grandfather goes on and wins the race.
And it was Richard's first hardtop start.
He had just started the week before, I believe, at Columbia in a convertible.
Okay.
And this was his first Grand National hardtop, because it's different points back then.
Where in Canada was this at?
Toronto.
Okay, because when they went back to Canada, I was on the team that won the first race back in Montreal with Harvey.
What year was that?
2007, I think.
So,
Somebody's probably going to correct me on
well,
that.
whatever. You got experience in Canada.
So you and Lee both got a win in
Yeah,
Canada.
me and Lee, we brought home the bacon.
I love it.
That's my bacon man.
No, it was
Canadian bacon.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, we should go.
You got any good stories about Canada?
Oh well, Pop took us up to Canada one time.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about.
I know, we're racing.
Well, that's the only time I've ever been out of country was when we went to Canada.
Went
with
around
Papa
the
Red.
Lake Superior and all that stuff.
And I mean, I don't remember. That was so young.
I know we're varying.
No, that's fine. It's international.
No, Montreal is a fabulous town, I think, and we went to. I think I went 2 or 3 years up there. And
Now, this was a road course.
Yes,
Okay.
it's I can't even think of the name of it. It's like the Villeneuve or something like that.
It's a French name, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to probably branch off to Mexico here in a minute, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the brothers Hermes Hernandez. There was 2 brothers that raced down there in Mexico City.
I got you.
But anyway, the Canada one, yeah, and we loved going to Montreal. All the guys that went with us and all that, and we didn't have a lot of time to do the town of Montreal, but and it's sort of like maybe a World's Fair island thing that the track's on.
Right.
Oh, cool.
And you had to go across where they did the boat,
Now, I can't remember dates. I just remember a little bit about the story, and I know y'all remember a little bit about it too. But after Grandfather Petty retired, he would go around and play golf. NASCAR would use him as an ambassador, and he actually went into Canada and played some golf. But he would go meet with sponsors and stuff. But he was working for NASCAR kinda as an ambassador for the sport. But he went to California and played down there and all around. But
Yeah.
y'all remember him telling them stories?
Yeah, no, I remember talking about going to playing in the Bob Hope deal.
Pebble Beach.
Yeah, Pebble Beach. That was one of his
I'm trying to think where the
greatest accomplishments.
He loved that, didn't he?
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
after the Montreal deal, the trucks went up there, and maybe even the Xfinity, but there was another. I don't know if it's Toronto or not, but it was a different track.
Yeah, the trucks, that was different.
I
than
didn't
that
ever go to
Montreal.
that.
I didn't either.
I never got the opportunity to go.
Now, any type of big racing in NASCAR, like the 500 milers and all, they have to be sanctioned sort of by the FIA. So you have to have an international driver's license to compete in NASCAR. And I found some of these of grandfathers from 1967 was one, and then this other one was 63. But I think when they went to Daytona for the 500 miler, maybe they started before
I
that.
think you had to have one to be an owner too.
You did. That's what this is. This
Yeah.
is his owner's
Yeah.
license, but you have to have an international license to run in the
Past owner here.
because if you go back and look at the Daytona
I
500,
don't like to brag or nothing.
they call it the international sweepstakes. Remember?
Yeah,
So
now,
they
yeah,
had
the
to have
international
that.
sweepstakes. That's right.
Well, now we've got out of the Canada. We got into that. Now, I run into this. This was kind of neat, and we've been sort of laughing about this. And I don't know the details. It's just an airline ticket. Pop Red, I think it was 1962. They were going down to Canada for Ford Motor Company.
Mexico,
What did I say?
Canada, Mexico City.
It's okay.
No, it's fine. But they's heading to Mexico
It
City.
is still
Yes,
international.
yes,
Right, it's
yes,
cool.
yes. Yes, I was looking at
Yeah.
Canada. It was going to
We
Mexico.
do make mistakes.
Oh yes, and then on the paper he had Ralph Moody, Howard Dehart, Fireball Roberts, Fred Lorenzen, Marvin Tanch, Herb Nebb, Banjo Matthews, Jack Sullivan, and Ken Myler, which is Pop Red.
Wow.
So they
So
were
that was-
going. They were going
That's
down
Ford
there.
Heavy
deal, right?
hitters for the Ford camp.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's telling them right here that when they get down there on the itinerary, that and they'll be in Mexico City and they'll be working out of I can't even see who's at somebody's garage. I can't even make out the name, but anyway, but they had it all set up for them. They got the whole deal, so I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, that, what year was that?
I think it was 62.
So where did they went from Charlotte to Atlanta to Mexico City, and then did they race down there at that track?
I guess so.
At the road
I think it
course?
says 62. I don't know. I just found the ticket.
I mean, I don't know how long that track's
Yeah,
been
I
there,
don't
so
know.
I'm only guessing.
Yeah, I guess
All right,
so.
so then they left there and went to Riverside and raced out there, right?
That's what it
So
says.
they went two different roads.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So if anybody knows why the Ford camp or home
And what year was it? 62.
Went to Mexico City,
Sure
let
it
us
was
know.
62. With all
Then he
the-
had to get home because I was getting ready to be born.
but that was a
Oh, yeah, big
that
deal.
was that was a big group of people right there. I mean, heavy
Well,
hitters.
like you said, heavy hitters.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Ford
yeah,
camp,
yeah, exactly. Anyway,
But so now you've got the Mexico. You've got some Mexican.
I was hoping y'all would lead into that.
now
absolutely.
I don't know if grandfather ever went to Mexico and raced. I don't know. So I think you might be the only Petty that's been to Mexico and raced.
Kyle was maybe Kyle.
Did he go down
I
there?
don't know.
Well, whatever.
We'll
We're
have to
might-
ask him next
yeah,
time we
He
get
might,
down there.
he might at least went down there and broadcast it. I don't know what year that
Now I
is.
think Daddy and them went to Tijuana and had some fun.
Oh,
but
oh.
when they was in Riverside stuff.
No.
But
We'll have to ask Dale about that one.
Yeah,
I don't
they'll
know.
know all about that one.
Yes, because Daddy's not around to ask.
Yeah.
But there's a hat that says Tijuana back here in the back.
Yeah, sombrero.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just went down for dinner.
Well, I don't think neither one of our cars won Mexico City. Maybe the year before. And you mentioned Will before. He went down a year before I got to go or was able to go because I wasn't working for him then. But yeah, Mexico City was cool. I mean, it's really a huge city. I mean, and just but the food ain't what you think it's going to be
Well-
because we stayed in the really swanky part. In like the El Presidente, and I don't remember the other names of the hotels we stayed in, but they bussed us to the racetrack because it would be pretty confusing. It'd be like us going to England and trying to drive.
Well, I was,
You know what
pretty,
I
mean?
I
I
was
got you,
thinking
yeah.
about the food. They have regional food, like if you live over to like Cancun, it's more of a
Yeah.
different taste than it would be in Mexico City. I don't know. I've never been to Mexico. I don't know. Man.
Well, I mean, they had it whatever you wanted, but now we did go. A couple of guys went and tried the street tacos and stuff like that, and some people was cooking right out of the back of their car. So it's everything you want it to be, But it was a really cool track, and I thought they put on it and they treated us like I don't know, like yeah.
Well, it was a big deal for NASCAR
Well,
to be in
for
Mexico,
like
right?
3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
and then the last year, it just kind of went away. I have no idea why or what. Or
Well,
now,
yeah.
speaking of Mexico, I guess it was 2002. When did Carlos Contreras?
2001
2001. I believe you're right.
through
2001.
2000 what? Yeah, Carlos was a driver for our truck team.
For the
with
43
with
Hot Wheels.
Wheel and what was the other sponsor that was on that from down there?
I don't remember.
Probably
but
Coca-Cola.
yeah, he had Coca-Cola and Hot Wheels. Yep.
Oh, it was a big deal. I mean, and they were and his brother and all
Oh,
that.
he was-
His brother was a really good driver too.
Jorge?
Was it Jorge?
Wasn't it Jorge?
Oh gosh, what was his name? They're gonna hate me now, but
Well,
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, they were good folks. We got
Yeah,
along good with
we
them.
became good friends with them.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of their culture.
But yeah, and they were from there. They were from
Mexico
originally,
City.
yeah, somewhere in the outskirts of because there was some more friends that worked with us too on that operation, the truck deal.
Yes, sir.
And I always wanted to go, but the truck deal was already gone when I got to go, so I didn't really get a chance to go see the other folks. You know what I mean?
I see.
And I guess, what was it, 98, NASCAR went to Japan,
Yeah, they want to.
and didn't Skinner go out there and win a road race? Or
Yeah,
something?
and plus
It wasn't a road race,
Australia.
it was oval.
Oh, was
I'm
it?
pretty sure, wasn't that an oval?
No, I thought
That
it was a
was
road
Australia.
race. Yeah,
Suzuki
okay.
or Suzuka, whatever.
Okay,
It was
you're
a
right.
road course.
All right, I stand
because the
corrected.
Thunderdome was down in Australia. It was kind of like Charlotte, and they
That's
did
what I
that
got
in
confused.
'88.
Yep.
So this is our knowledge of the international
And
stuff.
Richard,
Yeah, which is not much.
but Richard Petty went down there and ran in that race in '88 in Australia.
Is that right?
And I think Neil Bonnet ended up winning that race.
I'll be.
But it was a Goodyear type promotion because it was, and they took in, I think Dave Marcus was down there, and Neil Bonnet, Richard Petty. There's a lot of big names went down there, and they raced against their guys. Now, I may be mistaken, but I think they still run there, but they run backwards now.
Is that right?
Yeah, they got them supercars that they run.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
backwards
know.
to us. I mean, they got the reverse, but anyway.
Not been down there lately.
So it's nothing new to have international racing for NASCAR, and I think they're probably want to expand a little bit more if they can. But they've been doing it since the beginning, because even before then, Bill France Sr. would go down there and do that Mexican road race.
Well, it was a Pan American. Right?
Yeah, something
Pan
like that.
American.
And I
And
think
they'd run all. Was it 1,000 miles or
it was a
1,500?
bunch, but didn't
I do
Herschel
not know.
Somebody's
McGriff?
going to have to write in and tell us.
Herschel McGriff, he raced down there. I think he went with Big Bill.
Yeah, so Big Bill did run it.
Yes, he
Was
did.
it
He actually
Nash?
drove it.
Yeah.
Was Nash?
So anyway, that's about all I got on that. If y'all got anything else.
I think there's plenty more. I'm just drawing a blank on some of it. But yeah, I enjoyed going out of the country to these races and was.
Well, what's neat about this, you actually been to Canada and raced, and you've been to Mexico and raced, and that's kind of neat for me. Because,
Yes, and then to tie along with,
we had to tie back
with the
in
history of the
with
family.
Pop Red and
And
grandfather
before you
and
told me
daddy.
that, I had no idea about Pop going down there
Yeah, I
years
didn't
ago.
either.
It'd be interesting to know how long that track's been there
Yeah,
in Mexico City.
Oh,
And somebody's going to know something about that trip.
That
and
trip.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Hopefully, will let us know.
all I know is the
That's
airline
what we-
tickets.
yeah,
That's all I know.
That's
on the
what a
deal.
little bit of knowledge we have.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all stopping by. Like and subscribe, and keep tuning in. Thank you.